Hi, I'm Amitai Meged, and this is Worthiness-Based Psychotherapy.
Hello, I'm Ifat Raz. I'm a couple therapist, and today I'm really happy to sit here with Amitai and speak about guilt. Hi, Amitai.
Hi.
So, a very heavy subject, but you have news about it because I read your paper that you wrote.
Yeah, so the paper got its inspiration from a book I read recently, a book by Oded Goldberg that is called From Freud to Ayn Rand. And in this book, he talks about how the subject of guilt changed its meaning in the last 100 years since Freud till today, especially in the United States. It's a very interesting book. And the first chapter is, of course, about Freud. And there he talks about his discovery of the superego. Before Freud, nobody talked about superego. What we did talk about was morals and inner conscious and values, things like that. Grown-up person, a rational person, was supposed to be able to control his impulses and to regulate himself. This was supposed to be something that grown-ups do. So Freud gave two names for it. He gave the name of the id, which is the part in us that has the impulses to the child cries because he wants something and he doesn't get it. He maybe wants chocolate or cake, or maybe he wants his mother's attention or things like that.
It's also the part that is violence.
Violent, aggressive, right. In Freud's days, when he discovered the id, he talked about sexuality and aggressiveness. This is what the two drives that he talked about that the id has. And when we are older, also we have an id that we want to have sex now, or we want to, dominate someone right now. So the id is impulsive. And then Freud says, well, there is another part, which is the superego, that controls it. Actually, it doesn't control it directly, it controls it through the ego. And the ego is the one that actually regulates the id. And Freud asked the question, where does this superego comes? Because the superego, what does it do? It's critical. It blames us. It lets us feel guilty. It says, you're wrong. It tells us, you should not do this, you should not do that. Especially, it controls the id. It tells the id, sexuality is wrong, masturbation is wrong, don't touch there, or don't hit your sister, or control yourself and behave. So the question arises, why would a child develop a superego? Where does it come from? And his answer was that the child actually internalizes the voices from society, especially from his father, but also from his mother and society in large. Those voices are the ones that compose the superego and tells the id what to do. But why would I do it? Why would I internalize something which is so unpleasant as a critical voice inside me? So we do it because we want to internalize our father and our mother to be with us all the time.
Because we have a strong attachment to them.
Right. We have a strong attachment. We want to be loved by them, and we want to be loved by them, and we want to belong, as you said, not only when we are with them, but also when we go to school, or to kindergarten, or to the university.
Because we want them to escort us in every move we do in life.
Because in a way they know. They're supposed to know how to behave. My father, in Freud's Oedipal complex, the child wants his mother. He wants to have sex with his mother. But he realizes he cannot have sex with his mother. But he also realizes his father knows how to do it. So I should learn from my father, because my father got my mother. Maybe I will learn from him how to have a wife too. Our internalization of the superego is not something Freud discovered. It's not something so rational as we thought. It's not something mature. Actually, it comes from very, very childish needs. The need to be loved and the need to belong.
So it's actually a childish morality.
So actually, it's a childish morality, exactly. That means that what we internalize is not something that we really thought about.
It compels to.
We're compelled to do it. So let's take a child that has two good parents, and they give him good values and good morals, and they tell him to be polite and to
be considerate.
To be considered, which is nice. But you can have a horrible parent. You can have a father that, and this is a true story, the father goes through the living room. He sees his daughter playing with her grandmother, he is molesting her. He is raping her, actually. And she knows that when he goes through the living room, he does that to her. She needs to come with him. And if she says, no, I want to play with grandma a little bit more, he will criticize her. He will make her feel guilty that she's not coming with him.
So he has a problem of loyalty because she wants to be loyal to him.
Right. She wants to be loved by him. And at her age, which was, I think, 7, 8, till 10, she wasn't able cognitively to think about what he's doing and what he's telling her. She wasn't able to think, is it right or is it wrong? No, she just wanted to belong. She just wanted to be loved.
Maybe even that her id suggested it to her, but her father dominance was stronger.
So you're raising the idea that maybe the id knew something better than the superego.
Yeah, maybe.
Because her superego tells her you're guilty for not going with your father, but maybe something inside her, more authentic, knew that this is wrong. So this is interesting now, because we are seeing that it's not very clear. It's not very clear that the id is the wrong part and the superego is the adult, mature, rational part.
Exactly. You can see it also in cultural history, that there was a change in the attitude toward id. That we discover it along the years as maybe something of a value.
Right, it changed. In Freud's days, the id was something childish and immature and something that controls us, and we need to regulate it. Mm-hmm. Now, over the years, something changed, and now maybe we even condemn the superego.
Yeah.
Once we condemn the id, now we condemn the superego, because the superego is the one that can stop us from being authentic, from bringing our true self to the picture. Now, of course, there is a question here: is the id the true self? Mm. Because some would say, no, it's not the id that is the authentic part of us. There is, I don't know, the real self.
Yeah, but we can see movement and concept that tells us that if we don't have any inhibitions, well, we done perfectly right.
Right. There is more and more approaches that tell you need to be authentic, you need to express your sexuality, even your aggressiveness in the right way, and you need to be artistic and a self-expression, and the superego becomes the enemy, because the superego doesn't let you do all that.
Nobody asks the question, what would be the price of it if I do that? Because it seems when I surrender to the id, that I don't even ask myself what would be the price.
Right, exactly. So now actually we have two things to be guilty about. We have on the one shoulder our id that tells us, do that, be sexual, and right now. And there is the superego that we can also be guilty about. Mm-hmm. Because the superego tells us you should belong, you should think about other people think about you.
The tribe is more important, your family is more important than you.
Right. So what should we listen to? That's the question.
I think the word listening is a key here.
Say more.
I think that the ability to listen inside can grow inside us in a way that will reveal to us these two sides, the id and the superego, but then maybe some more voices that tells us something about our real self. And we can find our own choice inside and can decide in that. We can elect whatever we feel belongs to our own principles, maybe.
Right. So I want to tell you a little story about the couple that I saw. And I think that can illustrate what we're talking about. So there is this couple, and the woman is very, very critical of her husband. Actually, she doesn't stop criticizing him. She has criticism about everything, about what he brought from the grocery and how he fixed that or didn't fix it. And he's a very good husband. He tries all the time to please her, but he is never successful. And she criticizes him all day long. And she thinks, now, this part that criticizes, where does it come from? She thinks, I'm telling her, what does it do, this part that criticizes all day long? Are you happy with it? And she thinks about it and she says, yeah, what do you want me to do? You want me to stop it? This is authentic, this is me. She thinks this is her. Now I'm checking with her and we are talking about her childhood, and we we understand that her mother was very, very critical of her. Very critical. So my thought was that she actually internalized her mother. And this critical voice is her mother's, it's not hers. So is it authentic or is it her mother's? She doesn't know. She doesn't know if this is her true self or this is her mother. I mean, if this is her mother voice, maybe she should get rid of it, because it doesn't do anything good inside in her life, not in their relationship, not in her life, not in her husband's life. If it's authentic, maybe she should listen to it. I don't know if it is authentic or not. I don't think it is.
Maybe our mission in life is to let go of these voices that doesn't belong to our own discovery about ourselves. And I know it's a big question, who am I? But I think it gives us a clue, because this search for who am I reveals to us slowly who we want to be, what our life is aiming at.
So actually what we need to do is to update our version of the superego, and to have a new version of the superego which is updated every few years or every few months even. And it is updated by our own ladder of values, our own ladder of values.
You're the one who writes it.
I'm the one who writes it. It's not that I invent values. I mean, I don't have any value that I invented, but as people we can listen to values in society, hear them, and think, well, I want to take this value, but I don't want to take this value of my father. I want to take this value of my mother, but I don't want to take the other one. I want to take this value of society, but not the other one, and build our own ladder of values.
It requires a hard work. It's not something that you pick like in the supermarket values. You need to work on it.
Right. To think, to listen to inside, to listen to what is right, what is accurate every minute.
And to have the courage to go after it.
And courage is a very important word. Courage is very important because you need courage to look inside and see where you are still dominated, by your id or by your superego.
Exactly.
And you need courage to stand in front of society, your parents, your wife, and tell them, well, these are my values. These are my values. It takes courage to do that, because they're not going to applaud every time you bring a new value and say this is me. Sometimes they're going to be very critical of it.
Yeah, you need a strong spine.
So this is what we need to grow, a strong spine.
It looked like a very challenging journey, and I was happy to speak to you about it, Amitai. Thank you.
Me too. Thank you.